Hey everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Teresa. I do videos on whatever I want because I don't like putting myself in a box. And today I thought I would wrap up Disability Pride Month with a Q&A. I'm going to do that. Also, yes, I did chop off my hair. I did that yesterday. The curls were being weighed down and it just needed to be chopped off. So, yeah, I chopped off all my hair. I have a lot of product in my hair, and so it's kind of struggling. I'm gonna rinse it out tonight and see what it does. The back of my hair is not holding curl whatsoever. I honestly think it's just due to medication. And I apologize. My AC that I got like a few weeks ago is running, and because it is freaking hot in here, and so I'm gonna try and talk loud enough so you guys can hear me. And so I'm gonna figure out what these strands are doing. But I got product in my hair. I promise it's not greasy. We literally just washed it at the salon yesterday. I just washed it at the salon yesterday, and so it's got product in it. Got a hard cast on it, and so yeah, that's what's going on here. So, anyways, I thought I would just kind of do a Q&A for you guys today to wrap up Disability Pride Month. And yeah, let's get into it. So, the first question, there's not a lot here, and I'm going to try to not blab on as much, but you guys have been on my channel long enough to know that's probably not going to happen. Let's get into it. So, the first question is, how would you describe a barrier to someone because of your disability? Like, yeah. So, both in school and work. So, in school, some of the barriers that I had was specifically in high school, we had AR points, and with that, we had to do a test on the book that we read. And a lot of times I could not pass those tests, mainly because the questions were just kind of dumb. It would be like on page 60, I'll use like Harry Potter for example. What color sock was Dobby giving to, or what color sock was the um sock? How many times can I say this? What color sock was Harry given to Dobby in order to free him um in the second book or whatever? And I couldn't pass that because I wouldn't be able to remember, because that's such a small detail. Now being older, I can definitely remember that detail, but it would be something like that, or like a different book being like, what color dress was Sally wearing on page blah 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 blah. Like, it would just be so little and dumb, and nothing actually related to the story of the plot. So that was a barrier that I had, to the point of the accommodation that I had was to just write a book report on it instead. And the teachers, at least my senior year of high school English teacher, didn't even read the report. She just saw that I did it and then just gave me all the points that I needed for that quarter. Um, so that was a barrier that I had. Another barrier was on tests. If I didn't have a word bank, I needed to have a word bank because I would not be able to remember, because part of my disability, dyscalculia, is also memory. So if I didn't have a word bank, no way would I be able to come up with a word that was relevant to the subject. And so I needed to have a word bank so I could put the proper word in it. Because, yes, I have college professors as teachers. Um, Hi, Weston. I'm good. How are you doing? And so my parents, with their college students, all the time will be like, oh, that's good. Would be giving their students fill in the blank and not giving them a word option. And of course, they teach pre nursing courses and then would be like, I don't know why they can't think of these words. And I'm like, first of all, you're asking them these huge words and getting mad that they can't come up with these words. And like words for like body parts or like bones in the body. And it's like, what on earth? So that's something with school. One of the barriers I have for work is we have to take company cars for if we go kind of like out of town, which isn't really like out of town, it's kind of these sub areas. And I have to have like a GPS on me at all times because I still don't know where I'm going. And so I have to have access to that. And it needs to be like right here. So when I'm driving, I can just glance over and look. Otherwise, it's too dangerous to like have it sitting in a cup holder and like look down and then look up, especially if I'm on a road that's going like 70 or something. Um, it also like I need to be in a car that my phone can like charge because I found one that my phone will not charge in. Um, I will answer that later, Weston, after this question, okay? Um, and so I need that. I need to have a car that will adapt to my shortness, which has nothing to do with my disability. I'm just really short um, as well. So one that I can like pump up the seat so I can see over the dashboard, that I can move the seat forward so I can actually reach the gas pedal. It's a whole thing, you guys. And so, yeah. Weston asks, what did you do today? I actually got to see hot air balloons today, which was really, really cool. Got to see them being filled up and then take off. And that was really, really cool because that's been on my bucket list since I was a kid. And so, again, this is why I love the fact that I moved because I just wanted more opportunities to go and do things. And so, yeah, I mean, I've been posting it on social media. There's just more to life than going out and seeing oil rigs and farmland because that's all there is in North Dakota. And so I'm so lucky that I got to go see hot air balloons. And so, yeah, it's on my TikTok at Teresa Benson 1 if you want to go look at some photos. So there's the plug, which I don't plug my TikTok usually or any of my social media stuff. So the next thing is what strength do you bring to the table in your job as someone working with neurodivergent people? So yeah, I think it's really amazing that they hired me, first of all, in the first place, but especially as somebody who is neurodivergent, working then with people who are neurodivergent. One of the things that I think I do very differently than like a lot of my coworkers and stuff is I love to just like sit down and study um, and learn about the different like disabilities of each person. And so I understand that each disability means that the brain is physically structured differently than somebody who is non neurodivergent. And so that's going to bring different challenges than somebody who's non neurodivergent, right? And so then if there's some other stuff going on, that's also going to bring challenges. Um, that doesn't mean that things are impossible for them. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm living proof of that. Like I always have my challenges, right? But it doesn't mean that things are impossible for me to achieve. It just means that there's always going to be struggles with that. Not impossible, because Mary Poppins taught me anything is possible, even the impossible. Um, but yes, what I do very differently is I will sit down and I will study their files and really look at, the psychology behind it all, um, and really go through the stuff compared to other people, I feel like. Just mainly because I have more of the time to do it. Really, what that comes down to. But everyone's input is important, and so yeah, and so that's kind of one of my strengths. And because like I feel like a lot of people don't understand what like a cognitive disability is, because that's what my disability technically is. My disability is technically a cognitive disability. And so I feel like a lot of people don't understand what that means. I kind of have the advantage there, but I, again, never want to come off as like, oh, just because I have a disability, I know way more than you guys do, because that's really not true whatsoever. Um, yeah, I don't want to ever like come off that way. I don't want to, yeah, no. There's so many people that are there that know a lot more than I do and who are like way more insightful than I am. Um, and I love them. I love what each person brings to the table. So, but yeah, one of the cool things is that I just kind of understand certain things more than they do just because of my own lived experience. And again, just sitting down and actually studying it, and reading up on certain things, then yeah. Um, and because, yeah, I guess lived experience, and I don't know. So yeah, there's that. I'm sorry I'm saying so yeah a lot. I'm really trying to break that habit. What's the best thing you've learned from being neurodivergent? I think the best thing I've learned is just how to figure things out in a different way. I think that's one of the best things I've learned. Because being neurodivergent, like you have to think of things in a different way. And that's because you're literally forced to have to do that because your brain cannot comprehend things in the traditional sense. Um, and so I credit my ability to be an empath to theater a lot, but I also think a lot of that credit needs to also go towards being neurodivergent, um, because, yeah, my brain literally has to be able to find a different route to seeing things because of my disability. So, yeah. What is your least part of being neurodivergent? You can only pick one thing. You guys are brutal. I'm just kidding. You can only pick one thing. I think honestly, it's just the misunderstanding in a lot of ways. I mean, as a kid, people didn't really understand like why can't you do our math, and so being pulled out of math class, people didn't really understand why I couldn't do the math that they were working on in class. And as an adult, it really frustrates me that if I was in a different job setting, excuse me, now I have hiccups. I swear to God, this gets out of control. I think I'm good. Um, if I was in a different job setting, I I just get really frustrated that people don't understand like how to work with people who are neurodivergent, you know? And it's frustrating being neurodivergent, um because a lot of us don't know how to like advocate for ourselves because a lot of us aren't taught like about our own disability, if that makes sense. um I'm fortunate because I have done a lot of research about my disability, and right now in my current job I have a lot of resources to like help me out. And I can really learn and understand and find different ways to even help myself out, you know. sometimes people need help with finances, and I get to play around with different ways to help um, achieve that goal. And so not only does it help them, but it helps me too, because that's something that I have to work on, as that's not my strong suit. And so, yeah, there's like a win win there. But for many people, unfortunately, they don't understand their disability. And I know people don't always feel comfortable disclosing their disability, but once you read up on your disability and you can comprehend it, if you're able to comprehend, because comprehension is a disability as well, if you're able to comprehend that disability, I think it's a good idea to disclose it. Because here in America, employers are not allowed to discriminate against your disability. And if they do, there are legal actions that you can take. Uh, so you are legally protected um, here in America for that. So, just an FYI, I highly, highly suggest that. Um, because the thing is, if you don't disclose it and you are suffering in your job because of your disability, it's it's just going to be a really hard road. You're just going to suffer, and it's not going to be, pleasant for you or your employer, to be honest, because they're not going to get the results that they want from you. And then the company is not going to like succeed. And hopefully, if you like the job, um, then you want to stay in the job. And of course, you want to like make money, earn your money. And so I highly suggest it. And again, if anybody in the workplace is discriminating against you having a disability, there are legal routes that you can take. So there's my little tangent for that. So, least favorite part is just people not understanding disabilities, and specifically in the workplace, is people not knowing how to like manage people with a disability. I think anybody who is a manager should be mandated to have to take a course or something on managing people with disabilities, because yeah, anybody you hire can have a disability and they are not required to disclose it. So there's my tangent. Moving on to the last question. What's your favorite part about being neurodivergent? Again, I think I said it before. My favorite part is just being able to see things differently than other people, because I'm forced to have to do that. Um, Another favorite part, since it doesn't say that I have to choose one thing, is that, particularly with my job, is that I get to remind myself of all of the people who helped me succeed in life and kind of apply the same things to my job, of reminding myself, like, hey, like, remember all the patience that people had helping you try and comprehend all of the math things? Like, that needs to apply here as well with your job. And so that really plays into my own job here, especially reminding myself with the people who do have similar disabilities to myself, of like, one size doesn't fit all. And so that's really important. And yeah, it's kind of cool to have my life come full circle in that way, of being a kid having a disability and having people help me out, and now being the adult in this situation and helping people with disabilities. That's kind of really cool. So, people have been coming in and out. I don't know if anybody's staying, but if there's people on here, if you guys want to leave any questions in the comments, I'll stay on and see if you guys have any questions. But if not, I'm going to log off here and wrap this up. I've done so many videos on like disabilities, specifically dyscalculia, since that's one that I have, and I feel like I've answered so many things about it, kind of explaining more about dyscalculia. See if anybody else shows up here. I'll give it like a minute. I haven't done a weight loss update, you guys. I feel like it's been a lot recently. I have an appointment coming up on the 6th. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. I can definitely tell my face is getting really like a lot, but I did just have 2 Taco John's breakfast burritos this morning. So, I don't know if she's going to keep me on the medication or not, but we're just kind of trying to maintain at this point. I haven't even weighed myself since seeing her. Was it the 20? No, it wasn't 23rd. I think the 16th is the last time I saw her. And I weighed like at the office. So I haven't been weighing myself like at home. But yeah. And unfortunately, my insurance isn't covering injectable weight loss, and I'm like super broke right now. So I'm definitely working on the money management skill as well. So yeah. All right, since there are no questions, I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe down below. Yeah, this side. Hit subscribe down below, hit the bell for notifications. I post every weekend. Somebody just joined. If you have a question, leave it in the chat that's over here. I don't know why I said it like that. That was so weird. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I'm gonna log off right now. Speaking of disability, I should add this. I do have my neurological exam coming up, not this week, but next week on the 6th. And so I'm gonna make sure I cover that that weekend if I'm able to, assuming that they're gonna like do the results and stuff right then and there. I'm not sure how long the results are gonna take or anything. I don't know if I'm gonna have to go back to my doctor and like talk about the results and stuff, but I just want you guys to know that. So just like a heads up on that, I will end up talking about that whole process. So anyways, I hope you all have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you next week. Bye.